Hi everyone, I'm Yanis and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be wrapping up or telling you the books I read in the past few months, including one book in May, two books in June, and kind of also one book in July, which is it's a reread. So yeah, I'll be telling you all the books about that, and without any further ado, let's just get into the video. So the first book I read in May, which is A Love Interest. I have talked about this book, like my reading experience with it, in my mid-year book freakout tag, so if you're interested in seeing more on that, you can click my video on this corner. So The Love Interest is about a spy company called Love Interest. In this company, there are people divided into the good team and the bad team. For example, our main character, Caden, he is from the good boys team, and our other main character, Dylan, is from the bad boy team. So both of these boys are sent on a mission. They have to win a girl's heart, but guess what? The boys did not fall in love with the girl. Instead, they fall in love with each other. So that is basically what happened in the entire story. So now talking about the good things. One of the good things I really like about the story is how much potential it has. I mean, this sounds like a bad thing, but I really do like the story idea. This is so creative. Like, I am still very impressed how the author think of this idea. I really do enjoy watching spy movies or reading spy stories. Putting into this kind of crazy company and with a twist of, you know, not falling in love with the target, instead falling in love with each other. This story just has so much potential, and I really do see myself falling in love, but that will lead to the bad things about the book. I just have to say this because this is one of the biggest disappointment of the entire year. I also did mention this book as my biggest disappointment of 2019 so far, and it is the execution of the book is very poor. It still hurts to say that because, like I said, the story has such a huge potential, but because of the execution, I just did not like this book. One of the biggest issue I have with this book is the direction of the climax, which is crazy. Caden is the good boy in the company, and so every single boys in there do gym and are like athletic, and that is no exception for Caden. For 90% of the book, Caden has a very huge, you know, Peter K vibes from To All the Boys I've Loved Before trilogy. That is the vibe we're getting from him, but to the last 10% of the story, he suddenly became this, you know, demon slaying Jace, and I was like, what? The direction doesn't really make a lot of sense in my mind, and I don't really get how that comes from. Just because they have been like worked out for their entire life does not mean that they can suddenly become a demon slaying Shadowhunter. You get what I'm trying to say? It's the direction that's weird, and the inconsistency and the logic doesn't really add up to me, and I don't know, does that sound weird to you? But imagine Peter Gay slaying demons. That is the image. Now, I'm not spoiling anything, but I should say the relationship for 80% of the part is great. I do like the relationship, but to the last 20%, a plot twist happened and things are kind of unforgivable, but our character forgive everything that happens too easily, and that is just not realistic enough for me. That plot twist is resolved way too fast and way too convenient, so that is the only thing I have to say about the plot twist. And I guess that's honestly it about The Love Interest. So I guess maybe it's time to move on to our next book. So the next book I read, which is a book that took me almost like 3 weeks to a month to finish, and I could definitely finish it like a lot faster, but like I was busy. So anyway, the book I read during the 21st of May to the 14th of June is Finale by Stephanie Garber. This is the last book to the entire trilogy. So after the revelation of the identity of Legend in the second book in Legendary, in this book we follow more deep about Legend as a character, and we go more into his world to see struggles and sacrifices and all that. I can't really talk more about it because the synopsis of this book will be spoilery, but Caravel, I don't know how you say it, is a story about kind of like a magical realism world where competition is held over a period of time. There's no specific period where the carnival is going to be held. So basically it is a game with magic involved, but you don't know what you see in front of you is real or not. The story of these 3 books really evolves a lot. Like the first one mainly is about games. Second and the third book already took like a very different direction, so I can't really tell a lot what is happening, but yeah. So the good things about finale is that I really love how eventful, wrong word, I really like how eventful. I really like how every single page is something happens and you never felt there is like a page that is like not necessary. I love how every page is felt equally important and every single scenes are very well connected. Also, I love the very clever approach Stephanie Garber, the author of Finale, made. I wrote like very detailed notes when I was reading it. I basically write down every single subplots and also potential plot holes. That is what I love to call them, but it's like basically like clues to later development for the plot. In the later part of the book, there's like revealed something very important, and that revelation, is that even the word, link 2 clues together. I think that's very clever. I'm not gonna say it because also spoiler, but I really like how I write down every single thing and you can find like small links in between different pages, and I just find it very clever. I really like when author does that. It just makes me feel like they're like a genius. Also in this book we get some very decent siblings dynamics in here. We have 1 pair of sisters and 1 pair of brothers, and I really enjoy reading those moments, especially the brothers moments. I feel like even telling you who are like brothers is already considered spoiler, so I will not like tell you who they are, but I really do enjoy those siblings moments in this book. It is very heartwarming, even though one scene are kind of not making any sense. It's just way too convenient, but okay. Now moving on to the bad thing. I have things to say about it, of course, but it's not, oh, did I? And I rated the love interest 3 out of 5 stars. So the kind of bad thing about this book, or I should say the cons of the books, includes there really aren't a lot, but there's some like minor spoilery thing where I'll talk about it hopefully in my review, which I still have not gotten around to film it. But one thing is that there is this prediction made in the book where it's by like a fortune teller of some sorts, and they predicted tell us who is our main character future with a person. Spoiler also. They made a prediction. So going to the book, I already know that Tellus is going to be fine. She's not gonna die because the prediction is gonna be there, and that person is not gonna die too because obviously the prediction is made. Going to the book, I feel like Tellus forgot about that prediction, and also because I go into the book knowing that prediction, it's just not as fun to read the book because I already know that she's gonna be fine and everything is just gonna be fine. But other than that, I really don't have anything to say about it. I will do a full review on this book like I promised a few videos ago. I just have to organize my notes, and yeah. Finale is a 4 out of 5 stars. It is around that range. I do really love this book. If I have to choose a favorite out of the entire trilogy, I would choose either this book or Carvel, which is the first book. So yeah, if you are fighting for some very funny action-packed fantasy, I would really recommend this trilogy. Now moving to the last book I read, which I said I have 4 books to talk about, but actually just 3 because I reread this book that I'm about to mention, and it is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. So I read this book for it is a very wild ride. My first read happened on the 14th of May to the 16th of June. Yes, you heard me right, I read that book for over a month. The second read happened the day I finished my first read, which is the 16th of June to the 3rd of July. Red, White, and Royal Blue, it is a story between the White House in the United States and the royal family in the UK. So basically the first son of the United States, Alexander Diaz Claremont. So growing up, he really hates the Prince of Wales. But later on, they fall in love and became lovers. It includes a enemies to lovers trope, and if any of you love that trope, you can read this book. But it's so much more than a romance, in my opinion. I want to do the bad things first because this book is very unique because I have things that I don't like, but also this is a 5 out of 5. So the things I did not really like about at first when I first read it is the pacing. I feel like if anyone got struggles into this book, it's probably the pacing. Like I said, my first read of this book took longer than a month to read it, and that's because I almost DNF'd it in like 100 pages or so because I feel like nothing really happens throughout the first half of the book except for the two of them traveling to meet each other occasionally, not occasionally, very frequently, and making out and having sex. That is honestly what happens the most in the first half of the book. And also the first half of the book has a lot of characters building that could be useful for the later of the book. So I feel like that is the only thing because you don't really have like a lot happening in the first half of the book, so the pacing of there is like kind of not really balancing. Now moving on to the good things. I really do love the characters. I love the friendship that's mentioned in the book. As a person who loves reading a good friendship book, I love the White House trio, and I really love the Super Six, which is the White House plus the royal family friend group. Also, can we just have a moment to appreciate our president in the United States, Ellen Claremont? She is honestly one of the best characters throughout the entire book. I love how she is like a president, but also she is such a good mother in the book for Alex. I remember there's a quote. I don't have the direct quote from it, but I remember she's like, before I was a president and now I'm a president, and in the future I'm not a president, I'm still your mother. And like, I just love how supportive she is to Alex and how she does not have that president kind of tone when she's with her family, and I really love that, and she deserves a lot, and I really do love reading all the scenes that includes her, and she's also very funny. So, and also I really like how Casey McQuiston did a very in-depth dissect of Henry's emotions and feelings. So maybe oftentimes when people come across like royal family or princess and princess, and they're gonna think like they're happy, but Casey McQuiston did a very good job in like describing maybe people has their problems behind their mask that they show to other people. That's a very badly phrased sentence. Just because Henry is a prince of the Wales does not mean he does not has his own problem. I feel like Casey McQuiston really did a very good job in describing Henry's very complicated thoughts and inside of his mind. I really do like that character's description, character's development, and I really do enjoy reading that. So I guess that's really it for Red, White, and Royal Blue. 5 out of 5 stars. Would recommend. This is like branded as new adult, but this is not the most graphic thing I've ever read comparing to A Cardamus Fury. So I guess that's really it for the video. I will be doing more recent reads video. I mean, this is not a very recent video, but I'll be doing more recent reads video. My goal is to have around, if I'm in like a good reading month, my goal is to have around like 4 books per a recent reads video, so I can actually remember what I read and I can have like a fresh memory when I'm filming the video. So I guess that's that, and I really hope you enjoy this video. Comment down below which is your favorite book you read so far in 2019. I really would love to know. 2019 is overall a very good reading year for me. I mean, there are books I rated like a 1 star, but there are also a lot of books I rated like 5 stars where I find a lot of my new favorites. So it is a pretty crazy year. So I really would love to know what is some of your favorite books, and I would really love to read them. So comment down below, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope you all enjoy this, and I'll see you in my next video.